Hey, welcome to Rack Nation, everybody. We're sitting out here. I'm gonna do some carving real quick. It's a nice, comfortable 20 degrees here in the garage. So, as I showed earlier, I'm going to turn this vintage wood lure into this guy. We do not, here in my world, we don't use stencils. We don't use anything else. I will just look at the pictures and I will use my handy dandy friend right here. That's all we're going to do, and we're going to turn him into a beautiful sea turtle, guys. I carved these all the way up to 100-year-old lures. Let's do it. I recommend wearing a mask because you'll probably end up with lead poisoning on these. Right now, I'm just going to get the basic shape. This wood is cedar. I can smell it. We gotta take him down. I try to get one as an artist. I gotta see the shape in the lure. So I'm doing the basic horizontal shape, then I will do the vertical shape. And then after that, then we fine tune it. Trying not to let that get my fingers, because it will jump up and get you. This is going to be a mini part video, 3 minutes at a time. The painting usually takes the longest. So we're just going to make the indent for the head right here. You see, we're getting the basic shape of the head. And these are like three-dimensional sculptures. So, I do get pictures that are $3D, so I can see the top, bottom, sides. This tells me how I've got to get my thickness in places. You see, it's just a slow process. I'm starting to work the head out of it. Can you guys smell the cedar? And this video actually right here, we're at 5 minutes, so it's going to be long enough. This will be a couple videos. So if you go back and watch them, you'll get to see the whole process. And hit that subscribe button if you want to see the thing, because I want to be able to do them live. And again, all I'm doing is the general shape. And I'm probably getting lead poisoning, so you should probably cover your mouth. I'm using the large grinding wheel on the paint to kind of give me where the shell is. And if we get me to 50 subscribers, I'll do it live. See, we're starting to get the bottom shape. See, we're starting to get our basic shape. See, we're starting to get somewhere now. We're getting our shape of a sea turtle. They're big in the back, little in the back, or big in the front, little in the back. what we're doing now is we're carving the separation between the top shell and the bottom shell. You can kind of see where we're getting a separation there. Now the fins and everything will be done with spinner blades. See, we're getting the shell on it. And then we're going to sandpaper it, and I'll go to a smaller disc. I will go to a smaller disc to get the finer stuff. And I have other Dremel stuff as well. Alright guys, I know this video is getting lengthy, but it'll be broken down in different parts. And right now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sand to see if there's any alterations I need to make to the shape. because there's a lot of aspects that go into making this. It's not just one easy step. To be quite honest, there's a lot of 3D sculpture artwork into this. And I can already see an alteration I gotta make. This is just letting me knock the big ends off to make sure my shape is where it needs to be. Because we haven't made the head yet. So anybody, these are for custom order, guys. Anything that you want, they are collectible, they are fishable. Every single one of them is signed and numbered. There will never be another one of these. But if you caught a big fish somewhere, and yeah, a lot of people get mounts made. This is like getting a mount made that you can actually fish of the fish you caught. As you can see, look how pretty of the shell we're getting. The shell's getting its shape. You can see it from the side. There's the top, the overall shape. And my fingers are numb if you're... And you see it's colder than hell out here. 20-some degrees. Sacrifice for what you love. And if we can get our subscriptions up, I'm going to make one that you guys can see, and I'm going to give it away. I sell fishing stuff on Whatnot. This is just one thing that I love to do, custom lures. But I make spinner baits, muskie, small fish size. I tie jigs. I tie dress treble hooks. And sometimes when I get this and I get in and my fingers thaw out right now, I might have to make some slight alterations once I get in and see it. But right now we have the basic lure, and anybody has been following me, we're at 27.5 minutes. And I'm not even done the carving process. Some of these can take up to 9 or 10 hours total to make. Because when I get finished with the carving, the next step is I will go in and I will mock up the actual fishing lure. So I'll put hooks, hook hangers, all of that kind of stuff on it. And then once we get that done, then we're ready to disassemble and start the painting process. Everything I do is 100% hand painted with a brush. And because I like it to look vintage, I like to give it that old vibe and like a watercolor painting. And right now I'm just going to shape the head. And sometimes when you get into the tighter grains, it can be a pain in the butt. Let's see, I may have to go a little bit smaller here. Let's see, what do we got going on here? Let's see if we can do it without jacking it up. Let's give it a quick sand here and see where we're at, guys. You can see we're getting ahead. A lot of the stuff will be done with paint. And legs and stuff like that will all be done with hardware and paint. Right now, we're just trying to get the basic shape, but we have to have it solid enough we have to have it solid enough to fish. So although I'm making a sculpture, I'm not going for realism that is that high. Because sometimes if you do it exactly like it is without bulking it up or something like that, you wouldn't be able to fish it. Now, whoever this guy goes home with may fish it, or it may be a collector's piece. I got guys all over the country that collect my stuff. So they are all numbered and signed. And like I said, if we can get subscribers up here, come on my Whatnot. That's RAC 73069 on Whatnot. I am a seller. I sell fishing stuff. You can do that, or you can hit me on TikTok as well. TikTok is the same as here, Rack Nation. And Rack Nation actually came about because of one of the guys that come on my show. That's what he would say every time I come into a room. He calls me Rack Nation. So you can come and be part of the family. On here, I will be posting previews of my sales. I'm a retired, board-certified psychiatric nurse. So, this is what I do for a living now, guys. This is how I eat. So, we're getting the basic shape. And their heads are kind of square on these sea turtles. And if you see, I try to use, you see where the hole's at there? For putting my hardware in, I try to use stuff like that. And use the old hardware from the lures. So, and I know this may be boring to you guys, but people that buy these, it might be very cool to see the process and why I charge what I do. Let's go ahead and give the bottom of the mouth a little bit of shape here. And I enjoy doing stuff by hand, guys, but I can tell you, I'm not all the way back in the Stone Age. It takes too long for knives and stuff like that. It would take days to make one. So I'm using sandpaper. You kind of see I gave the chin. I don't know whether we can see it here. See where it gave it the tilted look? And that'll give me room for the mouth when I'm painting it. And we got to get a little flat spot for the eye on the side. That should give us a good flat surface to paint the eye on. And you see all I'm using is sandpaper right there. I don't know if you can see it. Kind of see where I gave my flat spots for the eye. Then I'll smooth that out with sandpaper. You can kind of see his face taking form right there. His nose, and you see the flat spot for his mouth. Now, I'm intentionally leaving some bulk here to have some meat in the lure. I think I may take this down just a touch more. But we're not going to get too crazy. Because like I said, I want it to be able to withstand a strike and a fish should people choose to follow it. or use it, I should say. Rick's Custom Carvings on Facebook is my Facebook page. You can get on there and join, and you can see all the kinds of lures I've made. You can see the people that they went to. You can actually, some of the guys fished them. You can see the lures and fish's mouths and everything. So it's actually this, I'm doing it this way. This way it's a whole experience. It's not just the lure. You're part of the whole process. Now that I got the shape, I'm taking it down some. And this was a cool way for me, because I am an art guy, and I can combine my love of fishing and art together. And guys, there is nothing more cool than catching a fish on something you designed. In a store, I don't always want what they want me to fish with. And to me, that is next level fishing, to be able to make something from scratch and go out and catch fish on it. That is really cool. You don't actually have to do it as intense as I do. Even just the spinner. There we go. We're getting the shell separation back there. I can't see with these glasses. I got them so dirty. boys and girls, I think we about have it done. And then our next stop, I will stop this video. I will get it posted. And then we will go in and mock this lure up, and we'll actually make it a lure. So yeah, like I said, I'm not talking a lot, guys. I was paying attention. I was trying not to whack my finger out in this cold. They're finally getting numb, so. Let's see. Let's see. Let me put this back on. We need to put a groove in the back of the tail. Gotta be smart enough to get the Dremel bit out. And what I'm looking for here is, if you look at the bottom of the tail, you see that little V in it. That's what I'm doing right now. Let's fine tuning with this. And there, my friends, is the little fork I showed you. So there we go. That is him. You can see my little eye marks, my little flat spot for the mouth. And then we will mock it up. All I got to do is just fine sand him some. There you go, guys. Sea turtle. I will see you guys a little later in here. I'll make some more videos when we go in here and start mocking him up. Peace and love. Welcome to Rack Nation, guys.